Hello and good night. Welcome to the University of Fantasy Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dane. I'm with our distinguished professor, Killanomics. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Love Day to everyone out there listening. Uh,
Indeed, indeed. Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovers.
yes, man. Wish I got a little bit more fantasy love this week, but you know,
Yeah,
so how it goes sometimes.
yes, it
How
does.
how do
Yes, it does.
how are your matchups checking out?
Well, you know, it was a cold Valentine's for me, but I was at least able to win like two of my matchups, 2 out of 5, unfortunately, but those two keep me very warm. So I'm happy with that. What about you? How's your
Oh, I know that feeling too well. Like I'm looking I'm looking like I'm about to win, probably two matchups.
yeah.
Outside chance of three, but nah, it's really going to be two matchups. And so what I've done, especially for one of the leagues, is I've actually there's a button in the app where you can hide your teams, and so I hid a certain league, so I wouldn't have to see the progression of the beatdown.
How do you do that? I need to learn how
Uh,
to do that, but maybe I shouldn't because I have problems forgetting to set my lineup sometimes. So maybe I shouldn't hide any of my leagues. Anyway, guys, we're gonna recap week 8, look at the matchups and our picks, what happened week 8 of the Association Fantasy Basketball League. We're going to also talk about a couple of trades that went down in the association. Interesting trades. Um, and then finally we'll give you right after we'll give you our preview of week 9 and let you know who to look out for in week 9. Let's begin. Let's begin, man.
do
Yeah.
it.
Well, here's a look at our picks for uh, week 8, which is still in progress, but soon to be over. We're recording here Monday at midnight, actually. Um, so we're up early trying to give you the scoop on what's going on in the association. Um, Things pretty much went according to plan. I think we had a few that we went wrong on and one that we differed on. But um, starting out with my Great Danes against King's Landing, I mean, there's not much to say there. We expected this one to sort of go in the favor of the Great Danes, and it looks like it did so in a big way. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I repeat, man, 4 versus 8 basketball, man. It's a tough game, man.
yeah, it's gonna be
Get you
tough.
some help, Kings Landon. Get you some help.
Yeah, and I have a quick tip for King's Landing. I because I want to see them do well. We have this thing. We have an IL spot, and I know King's Landing's got a lot of injuries, so I'd like to see King's Landing use at least use that, put one of those players, those injured players, on the IL spot, and use that as an opportunity to pick up another player. Um, free up a roster spot for yourself. Get somebody who you can add into the lineup and give yourself a greater chance of winning your matchup. Um, Also make some moves, man. Look, check out the waiver wire. There's some guys out there that you might wanna give a chance and give a 10-day contract to. Um, you know, Again, JJ Redick and Kevin Knox is not gonna do it. So, um, you know, we say it with nothing but love. Let's move on to Amherst and Syracuse. Syracuse was able to win this one. I don't think it's gonna change from the current score that we see. 5-3. Amherst, we know, is dealing with some injuries. Um, but yeah, we still believe that with that in mind that Syracuse is going to take this, even though their roster was turned over last week, and they're playing with some guys. Hey, Jeremy Grant has been kind of lacking in the production since the trade. Anything you noticed about this matchup that you thought was interesting?
I mean, you hit the nail right on the head, which is Amherst Speedsters has got more people, on the bench or an IL and he has, that can suit up and put on a jersey and, run suicides.
Right.
So that's just unfortunate. It's not going to get it done. And Syracuse, I mean, they're trying to tank, but it's hard to tank when, you're playing a team against players that are not accumulating stats.
Absolutely. Um, the Bombers, they dropped this one against Solid State. Very difficult to win this matchup with no Christian Wood. Only one game of Kevin Durant, and then Solid State. You know, but they made it close, 4-5. Anything you notice in this matchup?
No, exactly that, man. It's just tough. Yeah, when you don't get your two key players against against one of the top teams in the association.
Right. Well, we can take a deeper look into the next matchup, which was yours. We thought the Celtics were gonna be able to pull this one out against you, and no Paul George, no and returning Cat. But was Cat in your lineup? I don't think so, right?
No, there's no way I could predict that he was going to play. It was
Yeah, he
looking
kind of just
extra
popped up.
suspect.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Let's let's
and
let's see what went on here, because you know, did now what categories were you expecting that you would be able to win in this matchup? Really?
I couldn't go that far. Like expecting to win categories was a little bit too far
Hmm.
and a
Hmm.
little bit too ambitious in this matchup.
Yeah. Yeah.
The attack and the game plan was to get guys that were playing 4 games in the week and to get guys that had a huge risk of not playing games on the bench, right? And so that's why you see Devonte Graham is on the bench because he had like a groin injury coming into the week, and then the other 2 guys, Paul George and Cat, as you pointed out.
Hmm. No,
Um,
no Joe Harris either, huh?
yeah, so Joe Harris, unfortunately, the last couple of weeks or so, you look at his stat lines and it's nothing but threes and high field goal percentage.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
needed somebody that was going to give me at least zero point 0.2 steals or zero point 0.2 blocks.
Right.
Joe
Right.
Harris is Joe Harris is I guess he's good defensively, but
Right.
he's not like Harden, right? He's not gonna give you the stats that'll help you in
Hmm.
fantasy basketball.
Right.
One other thing is Plumlee unfortunately got hurt, and so that kind of sucked, and that took
Hmm.
away from the game plan. Like I needed the guys that I put in to play every single game because
Right.
it was going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Um,
Triple double for him tonight. Um. I mean, and we'll talk more about Plumlee later. So he's
y-
one of those guys on the move, but on the other side, man, it was going to be tough. Luca, 144 points this week. Um, you know, he and Devin Booker and Zion and Terry Rozier. How about Terry Rozier with a couple of games that just like a 40 piece, 2 30-point games, six threes in each of those back to back
I mean,
games. I mean,
I mean, for points, it was over by Wednesday. I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember like Thursday, you know, looking at the matchup and seeing 500 points. And I thought it was like an accident, or they were showing like the stats from last week. Or sometimes, if you're a real fantasy degenerate, like around like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Yahoo
Mhm.
counts the stats twice. And so I thought that's what was happening. And so they were doubling the points.
I've seen that before. I've seen that before.
And so I was in the process of reaching out to the developers to ask what was going on, because there's no way that the team that I'm playing, Bridgetown Celtic, has 500 points. But indeed they did. I mean, everything checked out. The math is right. It turns out it's not that hard to add up. Yeah, it was just bad, man. And I'll tell you, man, I'm not in a very good place. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm doing this podcast from the floor. I'm doing it from the floor because we hit a rock bottom. We hit a rock bottom,
What happened to
and
your couches, man? What happened to your chairs?
I don't deserve a couch or chair after the performance that this team put on, man. I got to
Yeah.
send a message,
Mm.
and it's very important, for the psychology of the Brooklyn Phoenix going forth, man.
Hear you.
Because
No, take those chairs out the locker room. Take those chairs out off the practice floor, man. Everyone either you sit on the floor or you stand up, man. This is as you stated unacceptable. But you will be happy to find out that Kyle Anderson did get an extra steal, and you are now tied. And it's no longer 7-2. It's 6-2, making it somewhat more respectable. So, are you happy about that?
um, I'm happy for what Kyle was able to do, man. Like that was very important. But
There's still more time.
you know,
He may get another one, and you may get another point. Maybe at 6-3 by the end of this night.
yeah, it's
So
it,
best of
it's
luck
it's been
there.
awful. I mean, it just shows you, right? Like, when you cast doubt, on a team, and you say, you know what, this team is not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. You drop them about 5 or 6 spots in the power rankings. And you don't really check the schedule and notice that you're playing them the following week.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
this this is
I th-
what
I,
you
th- I,
get,
th- I
man.
th- I think they heard you, man. I think they heard you. I think they felt a little disrespected by the way you had them an eight seed. That's just. I don't think. I don't think they were too happy with that, and they responded in kind, and caught you with your pants down. Again, you had Paul George out, you had Graham out, you had Towns out, and you know, hopefully you don't see this team again when they're feeling the way they felt this week. Because when they playing like this, it's
55% from the field.
yeah, 55% from the field,
I'm supposed to win
84.
if I'm shooting 53 from the field goal.
I mean, they dropped almost 800 points this week. I mean, it's just this was a slaughter. So, um, we'll move on. Congrats to Bimtown. This looks like the team that we you know thought was a top 4 team in the league. DameStop with a win over Rucker Park. Rucker Park has got to be unhappy with this one. Um, you know, uh, I think you had Rucker Park to win this matchup. I actually went with DameStop for this one, so I thought they could possibly, hand out an upset, and it looks like they did. Um, what'd you think?
Yeah, this was a surprising matchup for sure. It just talks about the inconsistency, we've seen from the Rucker Park. Um, every time, you start to trust them, they just surprise you, with a bad performance, or, a little bit of unluckiness, as far as the scheduling gods. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, look at today. I mean, Drummond missed a game because of rest. What is he resting for? It's not that hard to lose in Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, he's got ton of help in the rotation. McGee, Jared Allen. I mean, if you're doing a minute split, there should be plenty of rest there, right? I would think. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds fishy. I wonder if they're trying to trade him. I wonder if it's time. I don't know. I don't really see I see a couple of good spots for him, but I don't know if there's a trade out there for Drummond that would work. So let's jump into the matchup with the Titans and Cranston Killers. I think we both went with the Killers in this one, and you know, we're seeing an upset here. Real interesting matchup. Do you have a sense for what went wrong or right for the Titans? What went wrong for the Killers and right for the Titans, I should say.
So for the Titans, they dominated the category, or they did well in the categories that they excel in, which are the blocks, the turnovers, um, the threes. So those three categories were very important for them. And so they did a very good job of, taking away the free throw category this week, shooting at 81%, and then the rebounds at 177. And so, you know, it was a great win for the Titans. I think it certainly speaks to some of the weaknesses in Cranston Killers. They've certainly got some vulnerabilities that they need um, to tighten up. And I know, they're dealing with some injuries and some shakeup in their lineup, but it's they're looking very beatable. It looks like we're or a highly volatile team. Was what I took away.
Yeah, I mean this is not the same team that I played last week. Obviously, a very different team that I saw last week. Interesting way to for them to go out and wondering if, like you alluded to, if they should start to uh, be concerned. D'Angelo Russell, as I mentioned, is last time we spoke about him, and we spoke about him in I think week 2 or 3. He's not been good really all season. He's kind of struggled this season. Hasn't been that all-star type of player that we saw in Brooklyn. Um, and that could be for many reasons, but um, hopefully he bounces back because I think he's a big part of this team's lineup. One of their 1-2 punch in terms of guards, especially now with uh, uh, Hunter missing from the lineup. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with D'Angelo. Maybe he comes back now that his best friend Cat is back. Um, and he gets over his injury sooner than later. But as I mentioned to you, man, Minnesota has no interest in winning, so um, I wouldn't
Though they
count on it.
won, though they won today against those Toronto Raptors. Man, such a weird season.
Still gotta. It's a hard thing to balance. You gotta keep Cat happy, and you also have to keep the fan base dreaming for better days. So keep tagging, keep adding on to that talent pool.
Well, the Wolves have huge incentives to win games, right? Their pick is owed to Golden State, I don't know what the protections are on it,
The pro-
but
there's a top three protection on that pick, so they want to lose. I think they
mm,
don't want to be in that top. They don't want to not be in that top three because then they would give up that their pick, I believe. So yeah, I
so
think losing is certainly part of their plan. But
yeah, that's a good point because it's not like they can get into the last playoff or yeah
yeah,
playoff spot. Yeah, got to increase their chance, increase those ping pongs.
definitely. Um, Back to the matchups. We also had True Grit playing the Frankfurt, not the Flyers anymore. Killer, the 17ers. Um, so we've had another name change. We're gonna have to really, uh, you know, get with some of these managers to figure out what's going on with their marketing team, and um, what's with the sudden name changes. But um, yeah, anything interesting you saw in this matchup? I mean, I don't. I think it went pretty much how we expected. I think True Grit is just too banged up to really be competing against really anyone right now. Well, our final matchup, Midtown Moneymen went against NY Clinique. This was a bit of an upset. We were raving about Midtown um, about a week or two ago, especially after they made their trade to bring in Miles Turner and others. But in their defense, their newly acquired point guard Mike Conley has been out with injury. Um, I see a few other guys who just have not.
Well, is that a surprise?
I mean, it's unfortunate that it had to happen when he made a move for Conley, because he was having a pretty good season up until that point. But that's the risk that comes with Conley, right? You don't know when he's gonna be playing. Same thing with Oladipo. Again, not playing back to backs. He's still kind of, they're still being very cautious with him, coming off that injury from last year. He's gonna miss some games. Even still, I mean, you know, you had Turner, you had Jokic in the lineup. It just looked like, you really got to give credit to NY, even though you've bashed them all season. They're healthy and looking like they're trying to make a push.
Yeah, I mean, and NYK with the stop and frisk, the straight shakedown, just,
That's how they do it in the
just,
city.
they left Money Man with no money, after this week because, you can't come into New York with no point guard, right? They'll eat you alive, and that's what Money Man did. You look at this starting lineup, and it's just bad, outside of, the Joker. You don't really see as much consistency. Oh, I'll give DeRozan his credit. He's a formidable two guard. Miles Turner, looks like he's having a slow start with the new team. Um, I bet Moneyman was expecting some more blocks, given what he paid for him. Broko's starting to turn it on, but he's still disappointing. And as you pointed, Victor Oladipo, man, still hasn't gotten it. I was certainly wrong as far as what the fit was going to be on his newly acquired Houston Rockets team. And then on the other side, yeah, NYK, man, he's just chugging along, man. Give Melo some credit.
Mhm.
Melo, was arguably, the second best player, you know, if he would have been on the Money Man roster, which I mean, it just tells you,
Ouch.
how this matchup went. Yeah, that's really rough.
Um, yeah, there just really wasn't much that the Money Minute could do. Especially after acquiring Connolly, not having a point guard like you mentioned in the lineup was just was not going to go over well. Playing against John Morant, Fred Van Fleet, Vujicic, Porzingis, who had some incredible games this week, and then Kevin Herter, man, give Kevin Herter some credit because he's been really solid over these last week or so. Um, so yeah, looks like we uh, underestimated NY, but we'll see. Maybe they could get some more credit moving forward. All right. Well, that conclude week 8. But before we wrap it up, let's talk about two big trades that happened in the association this week.
Dun, dun.
The Phoenix. Let's talk about this move that you made with DameStop, sending Mason Plumlee over to Chennai, and you in return will be welcoming Marvin Bagley and a 2021 draft pick. Um, I like it. I like it. What would you see in this trade that made you want to pull the trigger?
And this was an interesting just unfolding of events. There's another big trade which we'll get to, but this was kind of one of the ones that was kind of underneath the rug, because the other one took up so much attention. But yeah, I got an offer that I couldn't refuse. I actually tried to talk myself out of it. Mainly because Bagley's been struggling so much, and Plumlee has given my team so much with the cat, struggling with injuries and the health and safety protocol stuff. But when it's attached to a 2021 pick, and the potential of that 2021 draft pick being a lottery pick at that, um, there was there was just there was just no way I could say no, man. And Bagley's a former Duke player, and I love Duke basketball. I know he's been struggling, and I probably won't, be putting him in the lineup. But there's still hope, right? He's still fairly young.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he's
but
promising.
as far as Plumlee, we know what he is, right? Like he's gonna give you out of position assists. He's gonna give you decent set of rebounds, give you a block and a steal, good field goal percentage. But he's reached the ceiling essentially. I mean, you pointed out earlier, he had like a triple double today, and that's big. I doubt that he'll be doing that. 2 seasons or even a season from now as Detroit starts to add more pieces. But for right now, he's a focal part of that offense.
Yeah, yeah. Well said. A Duke for a Duke player, one Duke player out, and another Duke player in. I'm interested to see what you do with this draft pick that you be acquiring and what pick it actually ends up being. Um, you know, Maybe this is incentive for DameStop to push forward and push for a playoff spot. I gotta say I was a little surprised that he was willing to trade a draft pick, but especially this 2021 draft pick. But yeah, Mason Plumlee, triple double tonight. Hopefully he uh, works out to be exactly what DameStop needs. And probably the trade of the week, definitely trade of the week, and maybe the trade of the year. The Busters, after acquiring Jimmy Butler last week, they promised more moves, and we got them. We got them. Sending Lonzo Ball and a 2021 draft pick to the 17ers for the Boardman,
The board,
the
man.
Claw, a top 3 or 4 player in fantasy right now. I mean, talk about lockdown wings. You add Kawhi next to Jimmy Butler with Drew Holiday. I mean, Giannis, just a stacked defensive team that could also give you some offense. A lot of good, efficient offense at that. Did you like the trade?
Yeah, I like the trade for both sides. Both sides made really good moves for what their near term or future objectives are. It was clear that Buster's is trying to win now, and he arguably got the best piece, that his remaining assets could purchase. Um, in Kawhi Leonard, he's just a straight up stud, giving you stats in all eight, arguably nine categories. And to do it, he gave up Lonzo Ball and the 21 pick. And I think that's great um, for Frankfurt, or the 76ers, or whatever their team name is. And the reason why, because I got a lot of pushback, right? Saying, what was the Flyers thinking? Do we need to have league intervention? Do we need to have another owner take over this team? And I said, whoa, 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 guys, let's think this through. A lot of people, they quick to react. They don't really take the time to understand, what's going on. So, what did I do? I do what we do best, Dane. We go through the data and we see, well, what could have Kawhi Leonard got in a team that's trying to build for the future and not now? And so I went and I looked at all the cheap assets underneath $30 that were ranked above Lonzo Ball. And so I'm going to read off some names, and you tell me if you feel like uh, Frankfurt Flyers could have gotten these players.
Hmm.
The first guy is Fred VanVleet. He's $14, and I believe he's with NYK.
No.
Exactly, same. Um, Tatum, he's
No.
$26.
No.
Yep. Comment I had, laughed out the gym. Levine, $19.
Probably not. No.
Continuing on, Wood for $1.
Oh, hell no.
Luca for 27.
Move on.
Bam for $16.
No way.
Jaylen Brown for $10.
No, sir. Not at all.
Jeremy Grant for $11.
Uh, with another team, maybe, but not with this one.
Right? It's because he's on the Sparrows, and the Sparrows have
Yeah.
already decided that they're all right. And now it's getting spicy. Your phone is coming up. Ding 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 ding. Brogdon, $13
For who?
for Kawhi Leonard. You got to
Hmm.
send
Hmm.
Brogdon for Kawhi Leonard.
I have to think about that one. How much is
Okay.
Kawhi?
He's like, I think 90 something dollars.
Nope, he's $120. I can't do it.
Oh, it's funny. My bad. I tried to give him a discount.
Oh, that's a big discount.
Yeah, that is a big discount, especially given what he's going to be inflated to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Next,
Exactly.
Gordon Hayward, $28.
No. No way.
MPJ,
No. Come on. Move on.
and he had him, right? Rozier, $13.
That one could have been a conversation starter. Especially with the current team. Bimtown, who's in win now mode. I'm not saying that it would have happened, but I think it would have, raised. It would have been given some thought.
I don't know. I don't think Bentown are into paying that luxury tax.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So you mentioned luxury
that,
tax.
that luxury tax.
Yeah. Rucker Park is about that luxury tax life right now. I
Yeah.
haven't even looked to see if where they are in relation to the hard cap, but I would suspect not close, but Uh,
Can't wait.
we're very generous with the hard cap. So, but
The next set of players are Rashad
oh,
Holmes.
there's more. Oh, Rashard
Yeah,
Holmes, the homie Rashard Holmes.
right.
Uh,
That's embarrassing, right? Like you trading the Klaw for Holmes, a
uh,
big man that just shoots one hand floaters, and you don't know what's happening with the future of the Kings franchise.
I mean, I don't think I'm doing that if
Mhm.
I have Kawhi. I don't think that's enough.
Boucher.
Intriguing player, intriguing player. But if I have no chance of competing, then why would I do that?
Right? Shea.
No,
Probably you probably can't, and you probably can't get him, right? Because
no.
that team is like 16. Halliburton.
Um, Halliburton, I would think not.
Julius Randle. You back on the clock. What's up, Great Dane?
For Julius Jokic, nah, I can't do it.
Exactly. Conley, he's old. Sabonis.
Domantas Sabonis. I don't think Solid State would do that.
So, exactly. I don't even know if Solid State would respond. I haven't seen him in centuries online. Uh, DeAndre Hunter. Oh, the next three players are DeAndre Hunter, uh, Young, Siakam, all at the same owner. I think that's like a hard no. And then we got Valanciunas, Zion, and then right before Lonzo Ball, we've got Malik Beasley. Right, so it's what was he really gonna get for Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah, I mean, luxury tax. What? No, I mean, no, and this is, you know, y- as you mentioned before, this is a great. I think what he did get was really. I like what he got. He got the draft pick,
Mhm.
and he got Lonzo Ball, who is a promising young point guard. Um, to add to his already set of his clique of promising young point guards, Fox and I think he's got Fultz, who's injured right now. Um,
Mhm.
uh, so I don't know. I mean, to add Lonzo Ball to the mix is probably appealing to him, especially at the keeper value that he's at right now, at $5. Um, Anthony Edwards is also on this team, and then you've already got your veteran leadership with John Wall there. So um, yeah, I mean, I could see this being working out well for 17ers who, you know, I think like you pointed out, they probably got you know, this is probably one of the best offers they were gonna get. So I think they did well.
Yeah, I love the other owners, right? To hit a comment, text message us, you know, let us know if any of the players, that we listed or we named, would have got it done in a Kawhi Leonard deal. That's an interesting data point, and can kind of help with the negotiations of trades in the future.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Rucker Park with their new star-studded lineup. I think especially after the loss this week, the way the week was probably trending for them, they probably realized that, hey man, we need some more help. This ain't gonna do it. And you know, as he said, he would be making more moves, and
Hmm.
he appears to be all in. Um, has not hesitated to put talent around Giannis. He's been talking about this since the offseason after he made the moves for Drew Holiday, and then you know bringing in Jimmy Butler more recently. Um, these are the kind of moves that are gonna uh, make Giannis very happy. So if they can get Drummond in line and performing the way uh, you know fantasy managers expect them to perform, is this the new number one team in the power rankings? What do you think?
That's an interesting question.
We gave Money Men a lot of praise when they pulled off the deal for the trio of Oladipo and Conley and Turner. What do you think now? You think this going to be a good competition, or you still feel like they're the favorites?
Uh, I certainly see some vulnerabilities. If CJ uh, doesn't come back, because that guard play is just it's horrendous. Without CJ and of course Mike Conley not in the lineup, and Depot just not back to what he was playing like in Indiana earlier this season. So Money Man, they're not running away with it right now. I mean, I would certainly rank Rucker Park ahead of them. If you're talking about having Kawhi Leonard with Jimmy Butler and Giannis, that's a lot of firepower. And then you add in Drummond, even if he's not, his usual self, it's gonna be an annoying force to play each week.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, that officially ends the week 8 wrap up. Thanks for joining and thanks for listening. We are going to move on to the preview of week 9 and get our picks for the matchups happening in the association.